Most guys that struggle with getting a girlfriend is because of their looks. But it's not surprising. We live in a world where good-looking people get treated better. And when you think of attractiveness, it's based on looks. A part of it is personality, but you still need the looks to get in the door, to attract the girl, to even have the chance to show off your personality. The problem with saying that personality matters more than looks is two guys can say the same thing. An unattractive guy and an attractive guy can say the same thing, but the unattractive guy will come off as creepy and will get brushed off, but the attractive guy will get more attention and girls will gravitate towards them more, and they'll come off as sweet or funny, or they'll think that it was such a cute thing to say. But that's because when you're attractive, it gives off a different vibe. Girls like you more. And when you're attractive, everything that you say is funny. Even when it's not funny, a girl will laugh at it anyways, just to get your attention. And they'll find any reason to be around you, be close to you. And they'll even approach you. Or they might talk to their friends about how attractive they think you are. And their friends will come up to you and tell you that my friend thinks you're attractive, or my friend thinks you're cute. When you're attractive in this world, you get so much more opportunities. People treat you better. You get more girls. They'll approach you. You might even have a higher chance of getting a job just because you're good looking, or even a promotion because you're perceived in a better way, versus a guy who's unattractive. They'll struggle more. They'll struggle to connect with people. They'll struggle to make friends. They feel like no one sees them. No girls would approach them. They have to make the first move. Some jobs, like being a host or a waiter, they'll only hire attractive people. There's so many advantages of being attractive. Just like there's so many advantages of being wealthy. You have access to so many more resources and so much more opportunities than someone who's poor. Life's not fair. But I don't think anyone's really surprised by that. I feel like that's something that everyone knows, but not everyone accepts. The main reason why girls like bad boys is because they're good looking. If you're an unattractive bad boy, you won't get any girls. Girls are into the bad boy look. But it's the attractive bad boy look. The ones that you see in movies. And some guys don't understand that. So they try to be a bad boy when they're not very good looking. And girls will think that they're rude and stay away from them. And then they'll complain. And they'll wonder what they're doing wrong. When they're nice, they can't get any girls. When they're being a bad boy and treating a girl bad, they can't get any girls. So they think to themselves, what do you do? And the right answer is be yourself. There's always someone out there that will find you attractive. But the question is, are you going to find them attractive? Are you going to like them? The only reason that a girl stays with a bad boy and stays in that toxic relationship is because they're good looking. They'll stay for years, even though it's an unhealthy relationship. And they're always stressed out and miserable. And it's not really the guy that they actually want to stay with. They don't really like their personality, but they stay for the looks. The looks make their personality seem better, like they can change them. They can see their potential because they see how they are on the good days. But they're not really in love with them. They're in love with the fantasy of who they could be, their imagination of who they could be. They're in love with their potential, not who they really are. But if it was an unattractive guy, they wouldn't have stayed. They would have been left as soon as they were treated bad. But when you're attractive, you get away with more things. People are more tolerant of your actions, of what you do. And they tend to forgive you even when you treated them bad. But if you're unattractive, you're not getting a second chance. You'll come off as the bad guy. Just by being attractive, you get more opportunities. Even if you do something wrong, that actually might open up an opportunity for you to become a model. There's attractive guys who did the wrong thing, but that actually opened up an opportunity for them to become a model. Life is different for attractive people. They don't really understand what unattractive people have to live through. How it feels to be left out and feeling like they're left out in everything. When you're not good looking, it's like having a bad resume. No one will look at your resume. It's equivalent to not graduating high school and having no work experience and trying to get an office job. You'll automatically get rejected. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible. When you're attractive, you're going through life on easy mode. Everything is so much easier. People are more willing to help you. People just gravitate towards you. People are willing to give you more chances and more opportunities and pay attention to you more versus someone who's unattractive. They feel like they're shut off from the rest of the world, like no one pays attention to them. No one wants to be around them. It's hard to go through life when you're unattractive. It feels like people are not treating you fairly, like people disregard you, and people are less tolerant of your actions and less forgiving of what you do. And the main reason why most guys struggle to get a girlfriend nowadays is because women don't have to rely on a guy to take care of them financially anymore. More women are going to college and getting an education and getting a higher paying job than most men. A lot of men are choosing not to go to college. So if you give it enough time, women will start making more than men if this trend continues. And that will make it even harder for a guy to find a girlfriend because girls don't date down. You have to make at least the same amount or more for a girl to want to get in a relationship with you. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always going to be a few girls who's willing to date down, who thinks that money doesn't really matter, who thinks it's okay to make more than their man. But when you're talking about in general, for the majority of women, they want their man to be capable and make more money than them. Back in the day, girls couldn't work, so they had to marry a guy to take care of them financially. They had to rely on a man. So even if you were a guy that had no game, that had no riz, it was much easier to get a girlfriend back then because they had to find a man to provide for them, a man that they can rely on because they didn't work. And the divorce rate was a lot lower because back in the day, it was more traditional. When you marry someone, you stay with them for life, no matter how hard things get, no matter what you go through. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're happy. It doesn't mean that they're in a happy marriage. They just didn't break up or divorce over every little thing. When you're talking about marriage in a traditional sense, it really only benefited men. Women couldn't leave a bad marriage because they had to rely on a man financially. They didn't have jobs. So if they left, they couldn't take care of themselves. So they had to stay with a man even if they were unhappy. So life was tough for women back in the day. And it really was their worst nightmare to marry the wrong guy. They had to choose their partner wisely because from that one decision will come 90% of their happiness or misery. So now that women can work, they don't have to just marry any guy to rely on, to provide for them financially. They can now look for a good-looking guy, a guy that they find funny, a guy that has the personality and the qualities that they're looking for. But the problem is, most guys nowadays can't live up to those standards. Most guys don't have those qualities. And a lot of times it's out of their control. And most women don't like most guys. And I think another reason most guys struggle with getting a girlfriend, especially unattractive guys, is they have the highest standards. And sometimes it's not even the fact that they can't get any girls. It's that the girls that like them, they think are unattractive. And they treat them the same way that an attractive girl treats them. And they don't even realize it. The world is changing, but it hasn't really changed much. Women always like the most capable men. The top men always got the most girls. Nothing's really changed, but things definitely got a little bit tougher. You have to have game. You have to have riz. You have to have a good personality. Just being able to make money isn't enough. Just being able to provide isn't enough. Not in this day and age. But regardless of the times, you just have to be yourself. And you will attract the right person for you. If you try to act like a bad boy when you're really not, what happens if you meet that girl, the right girl that you were always looking for, but you were acting like someone you're not, and they weren't attracted to the persona that you portrayed at that time, and you lost the girl you was always looking for? But if you had just been yourself, y'all would have been together. Y'all would have been happy. That's why you should always be yourself, because you will attract the right person for you.